look at 2024, because 2024 marked a very significant, period in the life of this administration. President, Tinubu made a number of trips, to China, and one of those, we all know the FOCAC summit. MOUs were signed. I'm coming to you, Professor Gali. MOUs were signed, I think 4 in number. Recently, again, we're told that those 4 MOUs were at various stages of implementation. Nigerians will want to know, review the impact of, our dealings in 2024 with China, specifically in regards with the MOUs that we signed with them.
All right, thank you, Clara. You see, these 2 independent giants, China and Nigeria, have been coupling together, and having that particular political and bilateral chemistry right from time, 1970s. You see, before you come into this particular MOUs, that is the memoranda signed between China and Nigeria, why is China important to Nigeria, and why is Nigeria important to China, and why is even China in Africa? You come to understand that Nigeria is so important. Why is it? Because Nigeria is the largest population in Africa. And when you talk of population, you are talking of market. Then apart from this, Nigeria also is strategic in terms of resources, both human and natural. Then this apart, China respects Africa, China respects Nigeria. It does not impose, its culture or its policies, on Nigeria. And it allows that particular leverage, that particular process to actually flow without imposition, without really pushing Nigeria or any of African countries to actually accept what China demands. Now, coming down to the memoranda sign, I see China as a political and economic messiah for Nigeria and African countries, if you may. Why? Because hundreds of years, of Nigeria and China relations with other entities has not actually yielded developmental, monument that we can actually glaringly see, and Nigeria and Africa become proud of. But with this particular establishment, with the visit of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to the last FOCAC summit held in Beijing in September 2024, those 4 areas included one, which is the promotion of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is connectivity. Belt and Road Initiative is a policy in Asia which will actually connect people, nations and states, economically, socially, culturally, politically, to allow the spirit of doing business and harmonious coexistence among the people. So we have the economic belt, we also have the maritime Silk Road. So this come together, Nigeria coming a member of this, it means it is actually conforming with the just concluded FOCAC summit, which is jointly advancing modernization. There is no way you modernize without infrastructure. And the Belt and Road Initiative is one major area of infrastructure construction, not only in Nigeria, not only in Africa, but all over the world. Advanced societies have come to embrace infrastructure-driven development, which the Belt and Road Initiative has promised to actually deliver, not only to Nigeria and to Africa. So this memoranda signed, it means that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is taking Nigeria to the next level. Next level in the sense that what Nigeria has not been able to have, what Nigeria has not been able to develop. In this particular new era, Nigeria is going to benefit from this particular modernization process, which China and Africa are jointly going to actually deliver. And this is key to our national development, because no entity can boost up development without infrastructure. Then secondly, the need for energy sustainability, which we want clean, nuclear, that is the peaceful application or usage of nuclear energy. you can see that there is no entity, there is no economy that can actually sustain itself without sustainable and invariable supply of power. So in Africa, you discover that it's only South Africa that makes use of nuclear energy. So if Nigeria should follow suit, it makes Nigeria second country on the continent to actually make use of nuclear energy. So this is so significant in this new era in Nigeria or in China-Nigeria bilateral ties, bilateral relationship. Then apart from this human development, human resource development, which will be in tandem with the Global Development Initiative, there is no way development should take place without having human resource development. Infrastructure is essential for the continuity and sustainability of any form of developmental project, but that will translate or should translate into human resource development. And when you develop your human resources, you are by extension developing the entire country, because the human capacity building will now translate into practical development of that particular entity, because it is the human being, the people, who will actually have that particular technical skill and inertia, know-how to develop their entity. So this will actually put into the modernization process, the economic autarky and advancement, as well as bring political stability and sanitize the political environment. Then this is the part, the issue of media collaboration and partnership. You can see China Media Group, NTA, coming together. Why? Because the media is an essential part of every society, because it delivers, it entertains, it educates. So people become learned, educated through the media. So that is why media cooperation, that particular mutual learning between civilization. How does China operate in terms of media and communication? How Nigeria does that? Let's come together and learn. Share experiences. Where is the gap or lacuna? Let it be bridged up. So these are some of the fundamental issues that encapsulated going the trip of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to Beijing to participate at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, the Beijing Summit of 2024. And you can see these are all for Nigeria's modernization. These are all for Nigeria's developmental project, which we never had before. And that is why I say why China is in Africa is to sincerely and honestly aid in the development of Africa. And why is the United States of America afraid? Why are other entities afraid? Is because they knew that they had faced a sheer and a complete fiasco. They failed to aid Africa, but rather exploited Africa negatively in order to make sure that Africa did not rise to compete with them. But China has learned that particular mistake committed by other entities, and that is why it is completely revolutionizing, reforming the way and manner nations and states engage on the world stage. China is sincerely and honestly aiding and even financing Africa's development and modernization. If you look at the China-Africa Leadership Dialogue, which was held in Johannesburg, China is even trying to promote Africa's integration. Integration in the sense that sub-regional integration, looking at ECOWAS, looking at SADC, looking at ECAS, looking at COMESA, looking at IGAD, that is Intergovernmental Authority on Development. China is all trying to promote all this particular integration so that Africa should be able to harness its potentials, aid each and every African entity to actually produce what it has, what is actually blessed in terms of natural resources. China will aid you to actually tap from those particular resources, even help you to take to China and sell. China is ready to buy from you. It's just because that particular trade deficit is not that China doesn't want you to go higher. No, it's you, the magnitude at which you produce, the level of your production, processing, and industrialization, that will actually determine the quantum of resources or finished good that you'll be able to sell. And China is promoting you, wanting you to produce more, bring more to the market. China is 1.4 billion. China's market alone suffices China's market, even though we need each other, but it is promoting us to actually come. And all this particular agenda, you think of United Nations Agenda 2030, dealing with the sustainable development, which the Millennium Development Goal fell, now replaced by sustainable development, your Africa Union Agenda 2063, and China-Africa, cooperation Vision 2035. Why is China there? Is to follow up. If the United Nations agenda for sustainable development fails, if even the African Union agenda for the Africa we want, 2063, all these particular processes, China is confident that the China-Africa Cooperation Vision 2035 will serve as a beacon of hope in order to monitor the practicability, the operationability of all these particular agreements signed, and to champion development in this particular China-Africa cooperation that is hopeful and promising for this particular two giants.
Indeed.